Hi, this is Cliff with Elevate Music Production. This video is a video of me making a ground up beat, starting with just a loop that I got from Cymatics, a few of their samples as well. They were free downloads. And then I used Sublab for the bass and onboard strings that come with Studio One 4.5 Professional. If you have any questions or comments, then leave those below and like the video if you like it. Thanks. I'm only using Cymatics for this beat. I'm going to slap together an idea, then I'll refine it just a little bit, really just give you an idea of how I start off my creative process. So, you can start off with a melody or a harmony or whatever that you come out with on any kind of virtual instrument that you have or recording that you have, or sample in this case. I'm using a sample that I got from Cymatics. It was a free download. They also give you kits and things to use, and in this free download I have this one folder, and that's all I'm going to be using. Just to make sure that I create boundaries essentially, and also show you how easy it is to come up with something just off one little sample pack. If you're having any kind of writer's block, then I definitely recommend jumping into samples. You know, I've sat on a virtual instrument, tried to come up with things for 30 minutes, couldn't come up with anything that really struck me well. So this is one of them that does. I'm going to play it real quick, just the sample. It essentially repeats after that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that. I'm going to drag and drop the sample into the editor window right here. Of course, it already snaps to the tempo, which is one thing that I really love about Studio One. Alright, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to let this repeat, and I'm going to start with the drums on it. So I'm going to turn on my repeat here, and I'm going to find some samples that I really like, drop them into my beat sampler. So we'll see what sounds good over that. I'm just going to let it play while I do that. Back to my files. And let's see, I'm going to use their hip-hop drum kit. Here we go. This says it's in D sharp, so whatever one I try, I can always just, you know, actually we'll just stick to the cakes. I'll worry about 808s and sub bass and all that later. Already like it. Got a couple of kicks now. I want to find some snares or claps. Really like that. That could be a transition snare if I want to use it for that later, because it's a little bit higher up. I like how short and quick that is. Now I want a really reverby one. Yeah, like that. Alright, so we got a couple of kicks, 3 snares. I'm going to use that for now in real time. Alright, so just something simple like that. One cool thing that I really like nowadays in DAWs is that you can do a loop recording function where I can play through, I can find my kick or snare, you know, mess around for a little bit if I want to. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to jump right into the beat. But it is nice. I do want a deeper kick than that last one. I like the heightness from it, but I need something that drops a little bit from this kick. So let's go back to the kicks, find something deep. Now I can even pitch shift that down a little bit. play around with this for a second. Alright, so I'm going to do something like that. Yeah. So I'll set my pre-count, so that'll be ready as soon as it drops in. That's simple, because I'm just going to have that kick doing that same thing over and over again for now. Switch it up. You can always go back. I'm just going to duplicate all the way across. You can always go back and change the kicks just by double-clicking and bringing up your editor right here, and then you can change whatever you want all the way throughout if you want to. You might just want to keep the same kick and snare, but as a jumping off point, this is what we're going to use. Now I also want hi-hat, of course, but I use a separate track for these hi-hats because I like to use the editor that's it's a sequence editor. I'm not sure what it's called. Anyway, I like to use this specific editor that's different. Oh, it's the pattern editor. That's what it's called. Alright, hold on. Let's use impact again, drop it in here. I have a mapped option where I already mapped out all my pads right here. Then I can drag and drop whatever hi-hats I want to use. So we'll sample some hi-hats real quick. Closed first. Level some of these out a little bit. That's good enough. Yeah, I really like that. Alright, let's do some open hi-hats. I like the way that sounds. That'll work too. Cool, that's all I need. So I got the hi-hats. Anyway, so now we got the kick, the snare, the hi-hat over all of this. Now I want to add some bass. I use Sublab for pretty much all of my bass. And that is this program. Okay, with Sublab, I have to immediately adjust the volume because most of these are already pulled down anyway on the mixers. But Sublab comes in pretty hot anyway. Okay. Alright, so pretty much I have the beat here. I could probably add another harmony or melody somewhere if I wanted to. So we'll do that. We'll do something that will accent it a little bit more, make it a little more exciting. I love to use strings. I use strings all the time. So let's just do that. Let's find what I use for strings, which is presence. Pull that up. I want some very high pitch, which violin is the highest on register, and pizzicato, which is the plucky sound. I'm going to play around with that over these bells. The bells are kind of, you know, dark in tone, a little bit lower, so these should sit on top of those nicely. I don't know what key it is, so I'm going to have to play around with it for a minute. Alright. Very simple pattern, but I'm going to use it. That's a little too high, I think. But you can adjust these things, you know, drag the whole melody up or pattern up an octave, drop it down an octave to play around with it. Add effects to try to get a different sound if you want, or keep the same pattern and just change through instruments, like on this. I'll show you how to do that real quick. For example, let's just do what we just did. Alright, so I want that to repeat. Staccato if I want. Now let's say I want to have something like that, but I want to put another pattern. Let's try it again. Cool, that's what we'll do. So now let's pull out the original thing and see what it sounds like by itself. So, you can hear that it takes a little bit of the energy out whenever I pull out this busy string. So, I'm going to put it back in and see if it lifts the energy. Yeah, it does. Totally does. So, I could use that. I could delete the first two. See what it sounds like when I take the hi-hats out also. Do that. As you can see, just taking out those two little things, you still have enough of a beat and a groove that you can work with it. You lift the energy, get it moving a little bit more by introducing busier strings or a hi-hat. That's a simple way to do that. And it still holds strong even when it's low. You could build an entire track off of a loop and then just take this part out, take that actual loop out. So if I were to take the loop out, it would sound like this. I could fill it with something else if I want, in that lower register where the loop sits. But we'll keep it like this. So everything I use with Cymatics, except for any extra instruments like the strings that I put in myself in Sublab. Those are the only things separate from that. I highly recommend Sublab too, by the way. It's $40, I think, and I've used it many, many times already. Alright, so thanks for watching the video. See you next time.